guys? Luke Royd here, and I got you over here at ISWA. We're going to take a look at the magnetosphere, okay? I do that a lot. I look at it a lot. I haven't reported on it in a while or showed you guys a whole lot about it here as of late, but it's doing some stuff right now that I'm not understanding, and honestly, I just need some help kind of trying to figure it out. Now, what I'm seeing, guys, I'll just tell you what I'm seeing. I think the Earth is actually kind of acting like the sun right now. We got coronal hole facing us from the sun, and when that happens, our solar winds are supposed to increase. Okay, should happen every time. Well, I'm not seeing a huge increase. Okay, and that number right there is your solar wind. You can look at it in different tools, and you can find that number many other places. Okay, space weather will show it to you. There's a lot of places you guys can go to see that. Heck, you could probably even just Google it, and it'll probably take you to some tool and show you, what it is at the current time. But for me, between 300 and 600 is kind of normal to me. I see that often, is what I'm trying to say. So anything above or below that, I really take notice. Well, I'm not seeing anything above or below that. This is the issue I'm having, okay? The Earth, you're going to see here in a minute when I drag this slide bar, that the Earth's here, right? You're going to see something happen here, and it's going to flow, okay, from the Earth. At the same time, nothing in front here changes. Okay? So what's that telling us? It's telling us that whatever happened didn't happen because of the sun. Didn't come from the sun. The energy didn't come from the sun. Okay? Because it's very normal to get solar winds or whatever, and for it to, when the bow shock compresses, we'll see one of these little reverse things right here, right? That's how we get reverse pressure most of the time on the Earth, okay? But as of late, and in the past few months, even maybe as far back as a year, maybe even longer, we've highly suspected that there's stuff back here. Other magnets, which would make it, planets, stars, whatever, stellar cores, whatever you want, whatever your flavor is there, okay? But it's just getting more and more pronounced, is what I'm saying. In other words, if you see this red right here, this red bow shock, if you see that thing compress inward like that, and we see it often like that, okay? I'll just be honest with you. But at the same time, you see the solar wind, you can see it coming in like a wave. We're not seeing any of that, all right? But yet, we're still having stuff happen from inside our magnetopause behind us. Okay, that's what's odd. We shouldn't be doing it. Shouldn't happen that way. Okay. Now watch as I do this. You're going to see it's going to act like, basically like water. Something else I'm going to point out real quick. If you zoom in here, you can see the difference in pressure. Okay, the green would be higher pressure or higher number here. Okay. The light blue and the dark blue are the lower end. The green's kind of in the middle. The yellow and the reds, as it gets up that way, it becomes the higher numbers here, okay? But to have green inside of the blue and not just kind of going in like this is kind of odd. All right? We don't see that very often. When we do see it once in a while, but usually it's because of the solar winds. And I'm not seeing any of that. Notice the solar wind has not even reached 600 there, okay? And that's kilometers a second, just in case you guys wanted to know what the math on that was. But that's what that is. That's what they're trying to show you there, okay? Now look at this odd. Look at that, okay? And as I'm showing you this, pay attention to the right. Nothing's changing back there. We didn't get any kind of wave of solar energy at all, okay? And just look at that, and then watch what it does here. It shoots on back, and then guess what? It tries to do it again, and there's no compression, or very little and that movement it's doing now on our bow shock. That's normal too. All right, that just does it with whatever winds we have out there. Okay, and it does this. Okay, and you're gonna see how it's flowing right from the middle. Okay, basically what I'm saying is, guys, oh, now look at that. That's a great part right here. See the green inside the blue there? I just don't understand it. Okay, it shouldn't be like that. All right, so what's causing it? Well, I mean, like I said, I think we have some magnets behind us and even close to us. Okay, I think the Earth is kind of acting like a sun right now. Now, see, this right here is the one I wanted to show you. Look at that. Watch. Nothing. And see how the energy comes from the Earth and gets pushed out, and it almost like it hits something right there. Now, if you look at this particular one right, well, that one kind of shows it. Okay, right there. Okay, I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing. Okay. Pretend, and I'm just saying pretend for whatever reason. Okay. Say there's another Earth back here. We'll just call it that. Okay. And here's our Earth, right? Well, we're shooting energy, right? Well, this one will be shooting energy this way too, right? Well, it looks like right in here, they're meeting up. Okay? It's almost like we're fighting with something right there is what I'm trying to say. And it looks like that we win this particular battle is what I'm trying to say here too. Because it hits, as soon as it hits, what's it do? It pushes on back, right? Now, all that tells me that is if there is something to, behind us, that whatever magnetic signature it has isn't as strong as what we had right at that time. I really think the Earth is kind of acting like a sun right here. I'm not calling it a sun by no means, but I don't even know if it's possible for for the Earth to actually put off winds of its own. I don't know. I just don't know that answer. If somebody knows that answer, if it's even possible for that to happen, please let me know. Okay, because I want to know. I know the sun can do, whatever the sun does, but I just find it very odd that we had that big coronal hole and our winds haven't really increased that much. Our KP got up to 4 for just a minute there, but then it backed right back off. And the KP is basically just talking about CMEs and solar flares. Okay, this is how solar wind should act. Watch. Okay. See how it turned green on us out there in the front? And see how the bow shock moved? So when that did that, obviously, see what happens in the back there? We had a reaction, right? I mean, that's what happens. That's what's supposed to happen. Boom. Okay? But before any of that, nothing's happening out front. We're seeing all this energy come from right there inside. And we see this with no increase in solar wind. What caused that? Okay? That's the question I'm posing right here. Are we acting, are we acting like we had some sort of, I don't want to call it corona or anything like that, but do we have some sort of hole that's allowing the Earth to produce some sort of wind shooting it off that backside? I don't know. Okay, guys? I just don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I'll show you this part too. Again, why I'm showing you this is I want you to pay attention because these lines all seem to kind of do one of these numbers. So what that's suggesting is that there's basically something down here shooting energy up this way. Okay? That's what that suggests, is when those do that, like that. I'll zoom in here and let you guys see it. Better viewpoint here. Okay? And again, look, see, this is a pole line. It really shouldn't do that. And then you see these other pole lines with these weird signatures. The IMF lines are the blue ones, which is our connection to the sun or other objects out there, okay? But we should be connecting to the sun. And frankly, we've had issues with that for a while. Okay, now look at this. This was very odd to me. Look at these IMF lines right here. Okay, it just totally suggests something magnetic's going on right there. I'll move it forward, and again, you're seeing that energy come from the Earth there too. Now look at this one. Okay, let that sink in for a second. I mean, if there was something, say, back here about this direction, wouldn't it make sense that the IMF lines would get pulled back to it? Okay, wouldn't that make sense to anybody else but me? I mean, I don't know. And again, how can that happen? Boom. I mean, we see all that craziness again. Look at that. All right. Now, I mean, I could run, you guys can go look at this, but you can see how it's almost like there's something down here doing this. Okay. Now, I think, is it Robert Dunn? He has a channel. He's kind of reported on this kind of sort of too, I think. I think that's kind of part of his theory. He's got a couple theories out there, but look at that. I mean, it's suggesting that something is here. See how all these lines are kind of pulling back that way? Even these are reaching out that way. Okay? For those of you that don't know, these blue lines, IMF lines, should really be kind of doing one of these. I mean, yeah, they're going to vary some, but that's what it's supposed to do. And the fact that we have no IMF or connections to the sun out here in the front is odd in itself, too. I mean, we see that sometimes, but it shouldn't do that. I mean, there's a reason it's doing it. So, anyway, I'm going to take you over here to my screenshots real quick because, I just got through talking about the sun, right? We have that coronal hole. Our wind should have increased substantially, and they didn't. Okay, and here's why I think that is. I mean, they increased some. We've seen something from it, which would be okay, but it wasn't as much as they thought it was going to be, I don't think. But I've showed you guys these captures before, similar ones anyway. Okay, look at this. This is the same camera, but different years. Okay, it's not hard to see the difference, right? I mean, it's hard for somebody to deny that something's going on. That's what I'm trying to say. Look, that's 2012. January 28th, 2012. Look how bright the corona is. Look at all the sunspots. Okay? And then we fast forward. February 2nd, 2019. 7 years later. Nothing. Look at that. There's virtually no corona. All right? Even if the sun isn't completely dark right now, that right there is enough to make somebody be like, oh my gosh, something is going on. You know what I mean? Is this why we're not seeing the increase in solar winds when we have a coronal hole facing us? I mean, we're seeing an increase, but not substantial, at least in my opinion. Okay, like I said, the KP kind of went up, but that's more of a CME type of detection or number that they're trying to get at. All right, it ain't necessarily just solar winds. It's more about detecting events and things. Okay, now I am going to show you this. Let's back here. Now, I just mentioned that that I kind of think that we got here's the Earth, right? And I was showing you the lines kind of just swooping up, right? Like I was saying that there might be something to our south celestially pushing solar winds, our solar energy. I'm calling it solar, but solar always suggests sun. So I mean, I don't know what to call it. If I just call it cosmic energy or whatever, I don't know what the right vocabulary there is, but I think you guys can understand what I'm talking about. The Earth's here. Just pretend that its magnetosphere is like this, right? Well, what would cause these lines of magnetics to shoot up that way? Well, you either would have to have a very strong magnet up here pulling stuff that way, depending on its polarity, or you would have to have an object down here pushing it that way, right? Okay, now I'm going to throw a word at you that we say a lot that sometimes people just overlook. That word is ecliptic, okay? What is the ecliptic? We talk about the ecliptic a lot, actually. Well, what that is that's a line, it's a horizon line basically for the sun. You know, all these theoretically right now, looking at this in a straight line, that would be considered the ecliptic. Okay, all the way around, it's orbiting the sun. Now, when something gets above or below the ecliptic, that's exactly what we call it. All right? Hey, we're below the ecliptic over here. Because sometimes the orbits of the planets, they move in such a way that they become above the ecliptic or below. So, when we're talking about the ecliptic and I say, hey, there's an object, maybe there's an object below the ecliptic, if that is truly the case, that would be shooting this way, right? Because that would make this object here. I just wanted to clarify that vocabulary, just so everybody can kind of understand that a little better. Something else I'm going to point out real quick, I've talked about this before. This is another one that, this is from today. I was just flipping through SDO, guys, and obviously it's still in eclipse season. So that's what you're seeing there. It's nothing to freak out about. I talked about this before, did a video on it, and actually got, there were some people out there hammering me about doing a video on that because they're saying I was, buying into something. I don't know. Just kind of going mainstream with something. Well, I don't think that this is anything that is really either mainstream or not mainstream. It's just the actual fact that the Earth sometimes is going to eclipse this satellite to keep the satellite from seeing the sun. And we have seasons of that because based on movement of the satellite orbiting the Earth. Okay, I explained this at length in one of my videos. I'm not going to go any more into that. But anyway, guys, something else I want to show real quick. We were talking about this, like I said, it almost looked like something was going on, right? Well, look at this. Why? Okay, this is what you got to ask yourself. If stuff was coming from the sun, right? Let me zoom in a little further here. Why would we see an energy signature bowing like this from behind us? Ask yourself that question, okay? And if I take and mess with the contrast on this and stuff, it's a sphere actually appears right here, guys. I ain't saying there's something there. All I'm saying is there's something magnetic pushing from behind here that's causing some of these issues. That's what I'm saying. Okay, is it possible that there's an object this close to the Earth? I don't know. The whole gravity thing comes in. Large objects pushing and pulling on each other. Would it be affecting our tides? There's so many things that could be happening. But I don't think we understand everything that we think that we do understand. And, people like Dr. Albers is stepping out saying, hey, maybe the world or the universe doesn't act like we've been taught. Okay? I don't know the answer to that. But again, guys, this just doesn't look normal. Regardless, I don't think anybody can deny that stuff's going on. And it's ramping up and it's getting faster and more frequent. Again, not only can you guys see kind of a spherical, at least this bow here, this little light area, is bowing the wrong direction if it was coming from the sun. Okay, just telling you. You can't deny that because it's right there. And then if you look at this is the exact same timestamp, okay? You can see right here. Okay. Oops. And you can see, even on this one, a bow that direction. So, anyway, guys, I hope you guys got something from this video. You know, I'll be doing some more. I'm going to be, I called into Marfoogle News, guys. I know people try to get in and out there. I was actually on hold. I think I was like either the next caller or 2 callers back. But I didn't get a chance to get on there today that the show ended. So, but, you know, that is what it is. You can only do so much, you know. Marf does a good job, in my opinion. Whatever your thoughts are of him, that's okay. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But I do get something from watching his show. I think he, for the most part, is on the up and up. I'm not going to judge him because, you know, that is what it is. I think he's a good dude. And I've been watching his channel for, well, since it started pretty much. You know, people are always going to question others. Okay. I've learned that. If I haven't learned anything else, I've learned that from running my channel here. I mean, I get questioned daily, get smacked on and everything else, but that's all right. Anyway, guys, stay strong. God bless. Yeshua saves, and as always, you can drink this Kool-Aid.